The goal is glow. Hi everyone, my name is Carolyn, but if you stick around long enough, you can just call me Caro. Welcome back to my channel. So summer is in full swing here in Florida. It's either scorching hot or pouring rain, which is a very typical Florida summer. So I figured this was a really great time to just share my summer beauty routine with you all, while also doing a little chit chat, get to know me, to welcome all my new subscribers. So first we are going to prep and prime. As you can see, I already have my hair done. I'm typically a hair before makeup kind of gal. I know that's like a contentious topic amongst the girlies on the internet. Like some people are very much like makeup before hair or outfit before everything. I am typically like a hair, makeup, outfit kind of girl. I already put on my outfit just for the video, but typically I would just like get ready in like a big t-shirt. But let me know in the comments what your order of operations is. I'm curious to see who is kind of like on my wavelength as well. So I've already washed my face with lukewarm water and just patted that dry. I have stopped cleansing or like using a cleanser in the morning as part of my morning skincare routine, because I've seen some people talk about the benefits of not stripping your natural oils that your skin produces overnight. And I have been dealing with a little bit of dry skin in the past few years. And so I think since I started doing that, it has really helped my skin texture. Like this is just what my skin texture looks like just from cleansing with water, no skincare yet. So pretty proud of that. So this video is actually huge for me because this is the first time where I'm actually getting ready and filming my routine with an actual camera, because I don't know if anyone else has done this or if it's just like the crazy in me, but I used to just like pretend that I was talking to a camera when I was doing my skincare and makeup routine just for fun. I don't know. I feel like I was like on the Truman Show or something, and I just have like an audience of people just like watching me, which is kind of scary to think about, but I digress. So I start off with a milky toner from Rhode. This is seriously like a staple in my routine. I use it morning and night. I just love the glow that it gives me. It's super hydrating. I think this is like my third bottle since I first got it about like maybe like a year and a half ago. So I love this. After that, I go in with my Anuva Hydrating Barrier Serum. Now, don't let my current skin fool you. I have not always had this skin texture that I'm proud of now. I dealt with really bad hormonal and cystic acne growing up once I like reached puberty. So of course, like 12, 13, 14-year-old Caro was really insecure in how she was showing up to school every day with these big pimples on her face. I tried everything. I did Proactive. I was prescribed different topicals from my dermatologist. I even went through the whole Panoxyl, like using dandruff shampoo on your face to get rid of like hormonal acne, which that didn't really work. Like nothing really worked for me. And I remember being so insecure about it and my friends can attest to this, I woke up like 2 hours, and this kind of sounds crazy, like Cassie Euphoria type shit, but I woke up like 2 hours before I had to leave for school just to put on a full beat of makeup, like arched eyebrows, dip pot for like an Anastasia dip pot for my eyebrows, like blush, contour, like everything. It sounds so extra, but it was really the only thing that let me show up to school every day without worrying about people staring at my redness, which I'm sure they still were, but in my head, it's like, this covers it up. But it wasn't until I got on Accutane, I think senior year of high school, where things really started to clear up for me. I remember walking into school one day, I'd probably been on the medication for about a month at this point, and my friend was like, wow, Carolyn, like your skin looks like so much more clear. And that changed everything for me. I was like, yes, something finally is working. I don't want to recommend that to people if you are dealing with cystic acne, because I know people's skin and health conditions are different, but that is just what worked for me. And throughout college I dealt with a few breakouts here and there, but I think once it hit like 2020, like when we were all in lockdown from the pandemic, I just stopped wearing makeup altogether. I just gave my skin a break because where am I going? And that was when my skin really started to clear up again. I think just from all those 4 years of 6 a.m. beats that I was pounding my skin with. But it's really taken me years to discover a good skincare routine that works for me. I used to want to get a million different products and get all the different serums and all the different masks and everything, but really simple is what I found is best for me. I only use 4 products in the morning. So I just put on this, excuse my French. This is a French product that one of my best friends just gave to me and has become a staple in my skincare routine as well. It is the Laboratories Embryollis. But it is a multifunction moisturizer. It's a moisturizing cream, makeup base, moisturizing mask, and makeup remover milk. As you can see, my skin is getting more of that glow back in from the moisturizer. And then I just finished everything off with my favorite sunscreen of all time. You probably see a lot of beauty influencers talk about this, but it's the Madagascar Centella Water Fit Sun Serum. It's a Korean sunscreen, and I went to go buy it at my local K-beauty store and they didn't have it anymore. And I'm kind of afraid that the FDA sunscreen ban from Korea is affecting the shipment. I haven't tried buying this online or in store in a while because I stocked up last time, but now I'm a little afraid. So hopefully my local K-beauty store gets in another shipment soon because this is seriously a holy grail product. So we are finally done with my skincare prep portion. Now I use 2 different products to prime my face before makeup. I have been loving these 2 products from e.l.f., the Thirst Burst Drops and then the Classic Power Grip Primer. So some basic facts about me. I am 26 years old. I am an Aquarius, if that means anything to anyone. I'm not a huge astrology girl, but I kind of approach it in the way of, take what resonates and leave what doesn't. I find it fun nonetheless to see, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm an Aquarius. I was born in Virginia, but I have lived in Florida basically most of my life, so I consider myself a Florida girl. I am also half Khmer, half Chinese, which if you didn't know, Khmer is the term that we use to refer to the ethnicity of the people from Cambodia. It's also the name of our language. I feel like not a lot of people know that about Cambodia. I feel like not a lot of people know about Cambodia in general. I feel like there's a lot of, at least in the mainstream media, there's a lot of focus on Thailand and Vietnam, but we're smack dab in the middle. So growing up, I was super proud of my culture and my heritage. I remember there was a show and tell day at school, and I convinced my parents to let me bring this gigantic painting of the Angkor Wat that we had brought back from our trip in Cambodia. And I just loved any opportunity I had to be able to share that I was Cambodian. But I think with any immigrant kid, there are times when your relationship with your heritage and your identity kind of ebbs and flows. But I really could not be more proud of where I come from and what my heritage is, and I acknowledge the trials and tribulations and sacrifices that my parents went through to come to this country and to ensure that there was a better future and a better life for their future kids. And I will say that motivator is probably the biggest, if not the only motivator for a lot of people who come to this country. And it's just been, to say the least, really disheartening and really angering and terrifying to see what has been happening in this country in the past few weeks with the ICE raids in LA and just across the nation, seeing the different hateful narratives that have been, coming about from people who think they know the immigrant experience when they really have no idea what they're talking about or what that could possibly entail. I know it's easy to feel hopeless and not feel like you have a lot of power to change things in very extreme, overwhelming situations like we're witnessing right now, but just want to remind everyone that there are small steps that we can take every day to make a difference. First, I think is educating ourselves, and even if it's just providing emotional support or having conversations with your friends, with your neighbors who may be, going through this type of ordeal, it's important to really rely on that human connection, especially now more than ever. I don't want to get into, a whole rant about this. This could definitely be a whole video on itself, but I will leave some resources and educational materials in my description if you feel inclined to learn more. I'm also going to go in with the Say Star Glowy Super Gel to also add in that extra sparkle before I go in with any other face products. And it just leaves my skin feeling so smooth and just, look at that glow. I've already had so many moisturizing products under this, but it's getting kind of crazy now. So, but don't worry, we'll kind of adjust at the end. I'm not someone who likes to wear any foundation, especially during the summer. I typically just go in with a good everyday concealer, and so my go-to is the House Labs concealer. I actually just got a couple of my friends on this when we went to Sephora the other week, so I just concentrated under my eyes, swipe that up a little bit. Most of my redness is around my nose, so I go around there, and also my chin, and then I'll also go a little bit on my forehead. So I mentioned before, I am unemployed, and it's definitely been a humbling experience. However, I am fortunate enough to be living with my parents still. Definitely did not expect to be living here this long, but I am saving money, and especially in this economy, that's everything. So I've been working in the marketing and advertising PR kind of world since I graduated, and I really do love working in the industry. I just find really great parallels in storytelling, and building those connections with an audience is, I think, super powerful and what I love to do. But yeah, being unemployed has definitely, again, been a humbling experience. I've been grieving, I've been resting, I've been rediscovering, I've been panicking. But really the silver lining of it all is that I can have the time to figure out what is important to me and where I see my career moving next. I feel like I have really been struggling with letting go of what I used to want and where I see my future self wanting and building a life. And those two, I feel like, are starting to maybe diverge a little bit, and I'm struggling with if that's what I want, if that's okay, if I'm doing a disservice to my past self by not allowing her dreams to come true as well. I actually wrote an essay. Here we go again, another Substack plug, but that's what I've been doing. That's what I do to keep myself busy. So I wrote an essay around, success not being a fixed destination. It's always moving because you're moving, you're growing. So yeah, I think I'm just trying to reconcile with my multiple selves and figuring out what feels authentic and true to me now. I just realized I forgot my nose. My nose is also really red. I actually just read a Substack essay the other day about why feeling lost means you're finally doing it right. And I love this quote. "We are raised in cultures that love clarity. Clarity is productive. Clarity is bankable. Clarity can be monetized and measured and turned into content. It makes you easier to explain at dinner parties. It makes your existence easier to post. And when clarity disappears, when the relationship doesn't fit anymore, when the job makes your chest feel tight, when the apartment you manifested starts to feel like a set, we panic. We look for a new label, a new goal, a new structure to stabilize us. But sometimes the most important thing we can do is let ourselves stay blurry, to be unbranded, unpositioned, undone for a while, because real self-knowledge is a slow, unmarketable process. And the lost feeling might just be the first sign that you finally stopped performing someone else's idea of a good life." So I'm trying to stay blurry, and I am hoping that the clarity little by little starts to unravel itself to me. But for now, I am allowing myself to feel okay in the messiness and be unknown, and I hope that there is good news on the horizon. But for now, I'm just spending more time with myself, getting to know myself. That's also why I started my Substack and my YouTube. I'm privileged enough to have the opportunity to be able to explore these creative outlets of mine while still job hunting. So if you're unemployed and you have the opportunity to get back in touch with yourself, just allow yourself to do it. You will discover things about yourself that you may not have known before, or you might rediscover things that you used to love and can continue on that path and see where it takes you. Yes, it's important to find your next job and to figure out what your next career move is, but relish in the time that you have to figure out what's important to you and what you want for yourself. It's okay to feel lost, at least that's what I'm telling myself. So next I'm gonna do my brows. I mentioned earlier that when I was in high school, I would literally go and do like the whole 9 yards, like fill in, dip, eyebrow routine. But right now I've just been loving my natural brows and I don't fill in at all. I think my current amount of hairs is fine for me. So I just go in with the Anastasia brow freeze gel and I just shape them the way I want them so the hairs aren't sticking out or they're not unruly. I should use a Q-tip, but I'm kind of lazy right now, so I'm just gonna wipe off the excess with my finger. And that's it. That's my brow routine. Call me basic, but this is my go-to blush and contour routine right now. I love, love, love the Rhode Pocket blushes. I think they're just super quick and easy to put on and super natural. So I'll just go in to the tops around my forehead. Oh, I didn't even say the color that I'm using. So I'm using Toasted Teddy to bronze up the edges of my face, around my forehead, under my cheekbones, and underneath my jawline. I go in with this House Lab brush, and I use this flat, more dense angled brush, and I spritz a little bit of the Charlotte Tilbury setting spray on the brush, pat off the excess, and just blend that in. Guys, so who's like watching Love Island right now? I will say I am not a Love Island super fan. I just started last season with Love Island USA, so I've definitely just am a bandwagon. Yeah, that was my first season that I watched Love Island, and then I started watching, I think, 1 season of Love Island Australia. I haven't even seen the OG Love Island, like the UK version, so I'm definitely a fake stan, but let me know which season of Love Island OG you all recommend. I will say my favorites this season are definitely Shelly, Olandria, and Sierra. I love those girls. I feel like they're not getting too much screen time. I feel like a lot of the drama on the season, at least in the past few days, have kind of been overshadowing some of the connections that those girls are in, but you know, reality TV, what are you gonna do? I also will say, and this might ruffle a few feathers, I like Ace. Sorry to say it, he's funny. It's editing Caro. As we know, a lot can change on Love Island, and after watching episode 18, I think Ace might be on the chopping block for me. I will say I don't want to speak publicly bad on any of the islanders on there because the internet is brutal enough and I don't think I need to contribute to any of that, but I will say I have been kikiing along with all the TikToks that I've been seeing, and there are definitely some islanders on there where I don't condone their behavior and find really just appalling. So it makes for good TV, right? Before I go in with my second blush, I like to kind of highlight more dew, more glow with the Hera Skin Radiant Glow Balm. My friend got this for me for Christmas actually, and it's just a nice, I would say like natural highlighter. I just like to put this under my blush just to add more of a natural glowy finish. And then I'll go in with Piggy. This is more of a light, I think it's like the lightest blush shade that she has, but I then go in with the same House Labs, and I use the other side of the brush and I spray that a little bit with Charlotte Tilbury setting spray, and then I go in directly into the brush, dab it on, or directly into the blush and dab it on, and go straight in I really focus on bringing the blush up to lift my face. So that's what I'm going to be doing here. I like to drag it a little bit under my eyes too. Yeah, and then I kind of just go in with the excess, rub it up on my edges of my face again to blend it in with the Toasted Teddy. Maybe a little bit on my chin as well. But yeah, I just love that glow. So I'm gonna lock in everything with my Charlotte Tilbury again setting spray. I like to do my lash routine after this is all set. I am curious to also hear what everyone is reading right now. Right now I'm reading The Parable of the Sower by Octavia Butler. So it's definitely pronounced Parable of the Sower. I promise I can read. It is a science fiction, like dystopian novel that revolves around 15-year-old Lauren, and she is just trying to protect her loved ones in face of imminent danger and disaster. I think especially with everything going on right now, the contents of that book feel extremely relevant and necessary now more than ever. So I am only, I think, 100 pages in so far, but have been really enjoying it and have really high expectations for it. So excited to see how I come out in the end on that one. I am on Goodreads. My goal this year is to read 35 books. Last year I was extremely ambitious and I thought I could read 50 books. I would say I'm fairly tapped into the book talk community, but I know it has its flaws. I know it's not perfect, but I do appreciate what it has done to reignite the passions of people to reading and to loving books, because I think the alternative is worse, right? Like seeing books being uncool or people not reading at all. I really got into the romantasy genre when I first rediscovered my passion for reading in the last couple of years, but you know, I will say there are a lot of bad romantasy books out there, and for a while I feel like I was taking L's. So I've been expanding my genre selections to more mysteries, thrillers, literary fiction. Again, I mentioned in a previous video that I was such an avid reader growing up. My favorites used to be, you know, like Junie B. Jones and The Magic Tree House, Series of Unfortunate Events. You know, I think that was probably my favorite series growing up. Oh, Percy Jackson, of course. I was such a huge Percy Jackson stan. I never got into Harry Potter growing up, but given J.K. Rowling and everything that she has done and stood for, I think I'm okay with that. But yeah, I think reading is seriously so magical, and I think everyone has a right to learn how to read. It really shook me to my core when I started seeing articles around how literacy rates are down and like kids don't know how to read anymore, like Gen Alpha doesn't know how to read or write anymore. It really is those dang phones, I'm telling you. I actually listened to a podcast that goes into how kids are being taught how to read now. I forgot what it's called, but I'll link it in the description because it's a really good podcast, and I thought that, you know, something was changing since I had left school, but this system of how kids are being taught how to read has been in place since even when I was in school, and maybe I was just part of the lucky classes that got taught how to, you know, read phonetically. Like I learned that a lot of kids weren't being taught how to like spell out words anymore. Like they were just being taught to guess what the word could be based on like the first letter or like the picture that they were given in their books, and that just like didn't make sense to me. I was like, what do you mean you're making them guess? Make them know the right word. I think this is like my first like tubing mascara that I ever tried. This is the Hourglass Unlocked Instant Extensions Mascara. I always have a tendency of having really watery water lines, and my mascara always smudges, but I have found that this does not smudge. And maybe it's just the tubing mascara effect, but I really like this one. It really lengthens my natural lashes. So you're definitely really glowy right now. Sometimes, you know, It doesn't look that bad maybe on cam, but it is a little maybe starking in real life. So if it gets a little bit too glowy, I will go in with my Laura Mercier setting powder, and I'll just use a little puff pad. Oh God, that was kind of long. Rub that in, rub off the excess, and kind of just dab it just underneath my eyes, because that's where I feel like some insane glow can linger. I still like to keep, you know, the cheekbones really glowy, and so I think it's just like the under eyes that's kind of a little starking in real life, so I'm gonna like blur that out a little bit. I also wanted to mention that I grew up a performer. I was a big theater kid. My first musical, I think my first proper musical was in the 7th grade. I was Grace in Annie. You know, I grew up singing, dancing. I got lessons to play the guitar and piano, which I didn't really stick to, and I kind of regret that, but it's never too late to get back into it. It's really just if you have the dedication and the discipline to do so. But yeah, I've always viewed the stage as like my comfort zone. I, of course, would always have, you know, the natural stage frights before I go on stage, but I think once I'm on it and the lights are on me, I just feel so myself, and I unfortunately haven't been on stage in a long time now. I think my last musical was, I think, 2018, so long ago. I'm really sad about that. I've always thought about wanting to get back into community theater, but I haven't trained in a long time, so I'm kind of like afraid to get back into it. But I feel like now I'm kind of just viewing my YouTube maybe as my stage. It's funny because I've had this like growing fear of like being perceived. I feel like that's just been like a growing topic nowadays, like our fear of being perceived and like being known by others. Like, what are they gonna think about me? Everyone's looking at me, and here I am like starting a YouTube channel. But I'm trying to get over that, like that fear. Like that's also why I started a YouTube channel. I wanted to get out of my head and get out of my comfort zone, and, you know, really put myself out there and not be afraid of, you know, whatever hate I get or how people might misconstrue things that I say. I really thought about doing improv, but that was honestly my least favorite thing in theater classes. I'm just so bad off the cuff sometimes, and I'm just like, what? I don't know. But I know it would really benefit me, not as just like a retired performer, but also just as a person. I really just like want to get out of my head and like stop stressing about what I'm going to say next or how people are going to dissect what I said and whether or not it was the right thing to say. I just want to do and free myself from the shackles that I have put upon myself. But let me know if that's something that anyone else kind of deals with too. I'm really bad at like talking about things and then also mentioning the products, but I also just put on the Say Star Glow on my chest just to add more of that extra glow. I'm going to also just set everything in with the One Size Mattifying Waterproof Setting Spray. This product is so good. It literally locks in everything. It does not budge whatsoever. The smell is intense though. The smell is crazy. I always have to like take a second afterwards. Woo. Oh my God, I almost forgot like my most important step, my lips. So this is my go-to lip routine recently. I used to not be a lip liner girl. I just thought it was like kind of pointless. I don't know why. But now I've been super into it. So right now I've been loving the MAC lip liner. This is in the shade Whirl. I think I just didn't have the knowledge of like a really good lip routine. Like I was just like, one product is enough. That's fine for me. It's gonna rub off anyways. But now I've been awakened, so next I'm going to go in with this Moozy Gay Mansion lip product. It's not a gloss, it's more of a mattifying, like blurring lip product. So I like to focus this on the center of my lips. I'm really trying to like achieve that like K-beauty, like blurred, effortless lip look. I love that color. Yeah. And then I'm gonna go in with this Hera Over Blur Lip Pencil just to kind of like add more of that blurring effect around my lips, just to make it more More natural, more plushy, more pillowy, more feathery. And that could be it. But I do love sparkle. And I'm gonna go in with the Jisoo honey infused lip oil. I forget what this is called, but it's like the really light pink sparkly one. So I'm gonna layer that over. And now she's juicy and plump. Okay, so that is pretty much my face routine. She's natural, she's glowy, she's ready to go out. I will say also, because I live in Florida, there can be lots of beach days, lots of pool days, and I have been loving the Kapari Sheer Setting Mist. I will say this is only more like a beachy poolside product. Like I wouldn't use this on like an everyday, but I'll do it for now. It does have like little sparkles of glitter in here. It doesn't show up like too overwhelming on the skin. The smell though, it's really sunscreeny, I feel like. It's not too bad, it doesn't linger that long. And then if I'm feeling really crazy, I'll go in with the Vacation Shimmer Oil. And you have to really love like a shimmer. Like this has like glitter in it, but the texture is really not sticky at all. Like it looks like liquid gold. And it smells amazing. But you will have like these gold kind of specks that pop, but I really love that look. So put it across my chest as well. My décolletage. Like, hello? She's glow. And that's it. This is my go-to summer beauty routine. But let me know if you like these chit chat style videos or if you have any other beauty video recommendations that you would like me to do. Otherwise, I'll catch you in the next one. Bye. Something about me, I don't be hydrating. It's bad, but that really hit, so I wonder why. I feel like I kind of blacked out during this. I'm not gonna lie, but that's okay because we're remaining what? Lost.